Hi everyone, and welcome to this channel called Zuzanareacts, where you help me learn all about India and I share my Slovak or Central European point of view on everything that I see and view. So in today's video, we are going to look at Kailasa Temple, if I pronounce it correctly. As someone that studied history, I'm actually quite excited to see what this is. So without further ado, let's dive right into the video.
Hey guys, this is the world famous Kailasa Temple at Ellora, and let's look objectively into who could have built this amazing structure.
Wow.
By the end of this video, I hope you will agree with me that our history is completely wrong and that this temple was
Interesting.
built by a very advanced civilization. What's so special about this temple? This temple was not constructed by adding stone blocks, but an entire mountain was carved to create this temple.
Wow.
This is the only temple in the whole world where a mountain was cut out from the top to create a structure. In all other temples and caves,
I mean, this is pretty crazy. Wow.
even in Ellora and rest of the world, the rock was cut from the front and carved as they went along. The whole world has followed a rock cutting technique called cut in monolith, while Kailasa Temple is the only one that has used the exact opposite technique called cut out monolith. To see why this rock cutting technique is so different, let's take a look at this pillar that's over 100 feet tall.
I mean, this all looks like super impressive and super duper huge. Has any of you been and visited this temple? And if so, what was your experience? How did you like it? How long did you stay? Tell me all about it in comments below.
Notice how small human beings look when compared to this pillar. Normally, to create such a huge pillar, it would take years of work carving accurately on a huge rock. But this pillar was carved by scooping out all the pieces of mountain around it. You can imagine the amount of rock which has been removed to create this pillar. Historians and archaeologists are confused because of the sheer amount of rock that was removed in this temple. Archaeologists confirm that over 400,000 tons of rock had to be scooped out, which would have taken not years, but centuries of human labor.
I mean, that's pretty interesting and questionable, though. We really, I guess, don't really understand or know that much about our long history. I actually wanted to be an archaeologist once. Did you guys like, or have you ever watched like a Sydney Fox or Indiana Jones? They were my inspiration.
Historians have no record of such a monstrous task, and they think that this temple was built in less than 18 years.
Wow.
Let's do a simple math and see if historians could be right. I'm going to assume that people worked every day for 18 years and for 12 hours straight with no breaks at all. I'm going to ignore rainy days, festivals, wartime, and assume that people work like robots ceaselessly. I'm also going to ignore the time taken to create intricate carvings
Wow.
and complex engineering design and planning
Pretty
and
impressive.
just focus on the removal of rock.
Wow.
If 400,000 tons of rock were removed in 18 years, 22,000 tons of rock had to be removed every year.
Wow.
This means that 60 tons of rock was removed every day, which gives us 5 tons of rock removed every hour. I think
Yeah.
we can all agree that it's not even possible today to remove 5 tons of rock from.
But like, you know, if it's not possible today, from me, and I've taken I don't know what's the best word to say, word to use, like fancy towards old civilization. So I was always like interested in more like kind of like Aztecs and Mayans and all that. But it does feel in a way these civilizations were way more advanced, perhaps not in a way we are. I think that the emphasis was they're more on building spirituality, whereas it does feel like I hope you'd agree with me that it's a bit more materialistic and than anything, at least in the Western world. Not too sure how it's in India, and I would love to hear. But I think people were seeking spirituality in the first place in those ages, and perhaps they were able to transform things without, us knowing.
From a mountain every hour, not even with the so called advanced machines we have. So, if it's not humanly possible, was it done by humans at all?
But we also don't, I don't know, do we know what the other humans were like? Do we know anything that perhaps is hidden out there and how clever they were? But maybe they had different structure, anatomy, etc.
Was this created
Maybe.
with the help of extraterrestrial intelligence? Now, forget about creating such an extraordinary structure. Can human beings at least destroy this temple? In fact, Aurangzib, a Muslim
So it's interesting about extraterrestrial because obviously, I think there has been like a UFO disclosure lately, and I feel like it would be a bit of naive of us not to believe that there is something more just outside of this kind of planet, and whether it works or looks similar, works in the basis of same laws. We don't know, right? So I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard, but I have heard. So I've been watching Matthias Di Stefano, and I think in one of his videos he has mentioned that like when Atlantis ceased. For those of you that believe there was an Atlantis, but it's an interesting food for thought. I thought. Was that those people that survived, they actually went to the was now India and kind of build the civilization from there. So I thought, very interesting thought. But let's continue.
king employed 1,000 workers to completely demolish this temple. In 1682, he ordered that the temple be destroyed
Do you know why did he do that? I'd love to know in the comments below.
so that there would be no trace of it.
Why?
Records show that 1,000 people worked for 3 years
Couldn't.
and they could only do a very minimal damage. They could break and disfigure a few statues here and there, but they realized it's just not possible to completely destroy this temple.
Wow.
Aurangzeb finally gave up on this impossible task. Note that this attempted destruction is very similar to another mysterious structure called the Menkori Pyramid in
Mhm.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Another Muslim ruler wanted all the pyramids to be destroyed and started his work from the Menkori's pyramid. After years of trying, he was only able to make a small dent on the
Mm.
pyramid. He gave up too. Were all these indestructible structures around the world created by extraterrestrials? Is that why
So obviously I've read a lot of spiritual literature, and this is very interesting because one theory that I came across was the fact that the humans of that era, they had different faculties and they could move the matter and manipulate the matter, and maybe that is what it was, and they were able to build all of that, and some sort of they had powers that were developed. We're only using a certain potential of our brain, so maybe their brain was way more evolved and was able to manipulate a matter. I get there, who knows? Let me know what you think. I don't know if this is right. I guess we'll never find out.
human beings are not even able to destroy them? In fact, archaeologists agree that Kailasa Temple was created before any other temple in the Ellora cave complex.
Okay.
Could this have been built centuries before human beings started carving other temples nearby.
Interesting
Is this
theory.
why the architecture, the design, and the size is so much better and bigger than other temples?
Beautiful. Like I'd
If
love
it
to
was
go.
built by humans, it's logical to expect that the rock cutting techniques and design would become better over time.
Yeah.
People would gain more experience and knowledge and make better structures in the future. However, the Kailasa temple is the oldest
Beautiful.
and the biggest temple carved with engineering perfection.
Wow.
Unlike other temples, the Kailasa is the only temple that's visible from the air. Out of 34 temples, all carved side by side,
Wow.
Kailasa temple stands out and you can see it while flying over it.
Do you guys happen to know what is the significance of that location? I would love to know where it actually lays and if it has any kind of significance to your religion or any of that sorts. That would be very helpful. Please pop it down in the comments below.
Is this just a coincidence? Or was it designed for people to see it from the air, like Nazca Lines of Peru? Even on Google Earth, the aerial view of Kailasa Temple clearly
Wow.
shows an X mark.
Yeah.
This is how it looks from the top,
Yeah.
and you can see a circular design that is studded with four lions that
Ah,
create this huge X mark. Was
interesting.
this created as a signal for
Do you happen to know what that means? I'd love to know. If it's like, is it aligned somewhere to the stars and signaling, I don't know, extraterrestrials to come and navigate around the Earth?
extraterrestrials who can spot the location
Mhm.
while flying? Unlike other temples of Ellora, notice how well its rectangular design is oriented
Wow.
with all the four directions. Its entrance faces perfectly to the west. Is this another coincidence too?
Wow.
Unlike most other temples of Ellora, this temple
Mm.
has bridges that connects towers, rainwater harvesting systems, drainage systems,
Pretty advanced.
hidden underground passages,
Wow.
secret peepholes that can show people walking in,
Wow. It's pretty well
elaborate
equipped.
balconies in different areas, and complex stairways that connect multiple levels. And all of this had to be planned accurately
Wow.
before they started carving the mountain.
Wow.
For example, you cannot carve these two structures separately and then decide to build a bridge later. No connecting rocks or external rocks were used at all, and everything was carved perfectly from one mountain. Do you still believe that this was done with chisels, hammers, and pickaxes by people with limited
The-
mathematical and architectural knowledge? I hope we can all agree that the Kailasa temple was built by a much advanced civilization, whether it originated in Earth or elsewhere. I'm finding a lot of mysterious places like this, so please do subscribe to my channel. Your opinion
Wow. I mean, this is magnificent, and I guess the question about whether how it was built comes to mind. But first of all, I'd love to know if you ever been there, if you know more about this, and please do share in the comments below. What were your, if you visited, what were your impressions of that? It looks pretty magnificent, and there are just so many things that we don't know, right? And this is one of the things that I would personally love to visit if I had the opportunity. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Bye.